Hello, it's Galadon once again, and here we are, episode 47 of Clash of Clans Attacks. So a couple of things. First, I had about a 95% positive response to allowing Peter $17 to post his own video on here, so we'll probably go ahead and let him do that again in the future for now. And yesterday's cheating episode definitely started a quite spirited discussion. Now, one thing I didn't talk about during the last episode was proposed and possible solutions, and personally I think that the solution is easy and straightforward enough. They just need to remove the disconnection protection for Clan Wars battles. Meaning that once you've started an attack in a clan war, if for some reason you do get disconnected or your internet slows below a certain rate, you do not have the opportunity to restart that attack. It just goes on as a blank attack, a loss. And that's how it's recorded in the battle record. Now, I do think it's a good idea to maintain that disconnection protection for regular trophy hunting or farming, because if somebody were to have that problem during a trophy attack, you could foreseeably lose 30 or 35 or 39 trophies, and which could be hours and hours of work to get back. Also, the ghosting or airplane mode exploit won't be effective on a battle that you've spun for, that you've been searching for, because once you've disconnected and left the game and you come back, you will not be able to restart that same battle. You'll have to go on to the next one, so that prevents any sort of exploitation there. Of course, it could still be applied to revenges, but after a certain point you don't see a whole lot of revenges. So here we go, moving on to the results of the last epic clan war, Lost Phoenix versus Persian Gulf. And I have to proudly announce that Lost Phoenix used every single one of our attacks. We had 45 members in the clan war, and every single member attacked twice for a total of 90 attacks and 97 stars. We 2-starred every single one of their bases, and obviously we 3-starred 7 of them. So yes, Persian Gulf clan did poke the bear this time. Lost Phoenix already takes their clan wars pretty seriously, but this time we went to extra lengths to make sure we did our worst. Or best. So a quick shout out to all those Lost Phoenix members with 4 or more stars in the last war, besides myself, ANF87, Dave 4Lam, Maturda, Metador, JLo, CW77, Ricky53, Takanohana, Weapon XSL, Warlord, 2Legit, Daigyo7, each with 5 stars, Nightwish, and then McClellan, Walla, and the Destroyer, first time on the 4-star list. Good job, guys. Ease up on the coffee there, Galadon. So this clan war has come to a close. We're spinning for our next clan war. We hope for a fair and even battle, and we trust that Supercell is working on the issues and it will be resolved soon. So let's move on to some attack replays, some fail replays or tutorials how not to attack. We have anonymized generously these attackers here, and we're watching what actually looks like what it would probably look like to run a ghosting attack if you were an attacking player. Notice how he doesn't seem to be sincerely attempting to take out the king and the queen. He's actually placing these troops around the edges in staggering points, not really drawing the troops anywhere in specific, but more it appears to be he's testing the area for bombs and traps and Teslas. And this becomes even more apparent at this point in the attack with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. We will not see another troop deployed, and somehow I doubt that this was 2 minutes of violation of the rule staring at the screen. More likely at this point this player was disconnected one way or the other from the internet. And you're right, there is no way to tell for sure what was happening there, but I would just say based upon the troop placement it was quite suspicious. Alright, this next attack is a good example of how not to barch. That would be the Barbarian and Archer troop composition that is pretty cheap and inexpensive to make and is pretty effective on bases where there are a lot of structures around the outside. And now here you can see 1, 2, 3 lightning spells all dropped in the same area. He lightninged an archer tower out of existence there, missed almost all of the clan castle troops, so they're coming on strong with a whole bunch of skeletons. He did not lay out very many barbarians around the outside there. There weren't enough to initially take out those surrounding structures, so he's laid down his wave of archers. But you'll notice the king and the queen and all the clan castle troops are out in force, just picking them off like flies. Now, another important thing to watch out for when you're conducting an attack like this is splash damage. That would be from the mortars or the wizard towers. And you'll see here the leftmost mortar is raining down hellfire and abomination on those wizards and archers there that are bunched up together, and they're going to get zapped out of existence. Then he's going to lay down another pretty dense group at the top here at the northeast. And watch as they move in towards the south there. They're going to get within range of that wizard tower. And just a couple of bolts from that wizard tower turns every single one of those archers into dust. And the same thing is happening at the southwest. And before you know it, attack over. And this next successful defense by Boop shows a couple of things how not to. The first would be how not to take out the king, queen, and the clan castle troops. And we're going to see that in a moment as he has activated them and he begins to pull them to the north. But then he deploys all of his witches and his clan castle troops way up there. And so they've already moved in towards the structures. And by the time that happens, the king and the queen and those clan castle troops are just going to lay waste to that first wave of troops there. He puts down his king and activates a special ability, but a big part of the problem here is that those clan castle troops, the witches, had time to generate tons of skeletons as they were working their way across the base. You really have to deal with them with either a lightning spell or a rage. And the deployment of the queen there wasn't very effective. She doesn't get many structures down. Here come hog riders, two big lines, but they're deployed so close together that they converge and become one giant pack. And so if they run into any big bombs, which they do here as they head by the Teslas, that's going to do a lot of damage. And there we see the defending clan castle troops are still alive and they have turned and they're attacking those hog riders now. That means devastation for any hog rider attack. Got to get rid of those clan castle troops. And it's like on The Walking Dead. You can handle one zombie, but when a whole bunch of them get after you like that, there's nothing you can do. All those hog riders are gone. Next thing you know, not a whole lot left here except for a skeleton on skeleton confrontation up there to the right. And the defensive structures that are still standing are going to be more than enough to stop the rest of this attack. And now in this next successful defense by the Grunkins, we actually have another failed hog rider attack. And here's an interesting observation I noticed as you watch the clan castle troops get pulled. If you pull them out and you're not direct in getting them out to the side to take them out, like here, he first pulled them to the north, then the west, and now to the south. Look at the witches stop and take time to generate more and more skeletons. So by the time they've traversed the entire map, there is quite a large number of skeletons that are ready for a confrontation here. And this, again, really means that you've got to bunch them up and either use a lightning or a rage with several wizards with their area of effect in order to take them out. Otherwise, you'll see what happens here, and that is a bunch of wizards and witches and skeletons that are left to wreak havoc on a hog attack. And again, we also see one of the problems here, and that is when you're trying to fight the heroes and the clan castle troops, just deploying a few at a time, a few of your troops at a time is not very effective. He finally puts his queen down, sprays a few more wizards down there. Eventually he drops a heal spell, which I imagine was supposed to be safe for the hog riders themselves. And all of that together is not enough to take out even a relatively low-level king and queen. And so when he starts his hog rider attack, here they come chasing him down. So the hogs move in there in pretty much one big pack. That Inferno gets frozen, but as they move in closer to the town hall, he's going to go ahead and drop one and then two heal spells here. And as that freeze wears off, you'll notice that both Infernos right here are focused on those hog riders, and they cannot be healed while they're being burned by an Inferno tower. And that spells disaster, slows them down. Here comes the clan castle troops, the opposing king and queen, and this attack is just going to be incinerated. Alright, let's move on to a failed Gowiwi. And here we've got Boop as an all-star today defending again. And there's a big violation right away, getting your golems in a bunch, all the golems together. And then this deployment coming up of the heroes way too soon. And then here comes a bunch of wall breakers. And notice how the wall breakers are deployed in three separate groups that go to three different areas. And they very effectively wipe out the outermost wall. And very quickly this attack has gone south. This was pretty much the spray and pray deployment method. He ignored the clan castle, ignored the king and the queen. Here they come. It's not going to be long now. Both Infernos going full force and protected behind a wall there. And just 40 seconds into this attack, it's almost completely over already. Just doing some cleanup here with a whole bunch of skeletons. All those defenses just focused on the center of those troops there. And this attack is going to be over. but not before an almost inexplicable 2 minutes of either staring at the screen or disconnecting. So that is going to wrap up episode 47 of Clash of Clans Attacks. While I was making this video, we did spin our next opponent in Clan Wars. It is Detroit Death. Looks like a very evenly matched opponent. Princess Peach, we're coming for you. Question 1 of the 3-part question is, how much is the most gold that any player can be in possession of at any one time? Now don't answer that question until you have parts 2 and 3 if you want to qualify.